Welcome to Life Well Booked, where short-term rentals, bold business moves, and intentional living collide. We are your hosts, Britt Baltazar and Stefanie Gould. This is a place for real talk, fresh perspective, and powerful inspiration to help you create a life and business you are obsessed with. So whether you're building, growing, or leveling up, let's do this. Welcome back to Life Well Booked. Today we're talking about Airbnb or VRBO. Which one should you host your house on?
Yep.
And for us, it's not really just one or the other. It's literally a multiple amount of different places that we host our homes on. And we've been managing over 220 plus properties for over 8 years.
Mhm.
And we're about to just share some of the things that we have found that have worked well for us, some of the difference between Airbnb and VRBO, and then we're going to share some of our other hacks on how and who we host with as well.
Okay.
All right, let's jump into today's episode. So, tell me a breakdown of what you see Airbnb is like.
Okay. So Airbnb and VRBO, to be honest with you, are sort of necessary evils.
Okay.
And I don't say it evil like they're evil because they do a great job and we do a great job booking with them. Everyone in our community is trying desperately to just get people to book on their own website.
This is true.
So that's the ultimate goal. So I will say VRBO and Airbnb are both necessary. Airbnb, though, is very different than VRBO, and the client base is really what is the most thing that's different.
Okay.
Airbnb, I think, has been around a little bit less time than VRBO. I think VRBO has a longer history.
That is correct. VRBO was founded in 1995.
Got it?
Airbnb was founded in 2008.
There you go. So I don't think it's inaccurate to say when I started back in 2012,
Okay.
Airbnb was practically not even a thing. Even though they started in 2008, it wasn't a really big thing until a little bit later, to be honest. But you really need both. And here's why. Airbnb tends to be a bit younger clientele. It tends to cater to a little bit more tech savvy folks. It's not that either website is easier to use than the other. It's just that's who tends to book there. It tends to be short stays,
Mhm.
3, 4 nights, sometimes weekends, sometimes a little bit longer, but that seems to be their main angle. Shorter, younger, quicker trips,
I think
drive market.
that's how they've marketed. I feel like Airbnb is marketed that direction.
Correct. Now, are they changing things? Of course. Do they want a piece of every pie? They're really big in the midterm world now, or they're getting
Yep.
bigger in the 28 days plus. And there's all kinds of drama surrounding that with Airbnb, but we do get bookings longer with
Okay.
them now, but that's only recent. But again, younger clientele, actually, in terms of booking revenue, even we do more revenue with VRBO, more bookings with Airbnb. So it also kind of
Really?
depends on where your bread is buttered. And
Okay.
I would say just overall more revenue with VRBO and Airbnb, more bookings overall.
So
More room nights.
with VRBO, is it because their fee structure is lower?
No. VRBO tends to be a little bit older clientele.
Okay.
The stays tend to be a little bit longer. They go on there really intentionally to book.
Okay.
I think Airbnb, my opinion is people are jumping around, searching around, looking for the best deal, putting out feelers to many hosts about many properties. VRBO tends to be very specific. People get on a home. They really like that one. They're going to be intentional about booking that one. They want to select the best property. And
Oh,
Airbnb
okay.
tends to be driven by rate, money, sometimes, of course, the offerings that the homes offer, but it's a little more shopping.
And they're looking more for the comforts,
They're
right?
looking for comforts, they're looking for price, they're looking for quick in and out, they're looking for a shorter stay, places that'll take shorter stays. That's what they're looking for. It's generally a drive market customer to
Okay.
Arizona.
Okay.
Also, VRBO people tend to fly here
Oh,
often.
okay. Okay.
So again, different budgets, different length of stay. That's why I think we do more revenue with VRBO.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's kind of funny is I have a breakdown on profile for Airbnb and VRBO.
Oh, am I right?
So guest profile for Airbnb is Millennial, and Gen Z. So they market more towards solo travelers, couples, friend groups, comfort with self-service, and technology, right? And so a lot of the sweet spots for properties on Airbnb are apartments, condos, unique properties, walkable markets, properties with like the strong design, right? Like those are the people that are looking for the Instagram homes.
Yes.
They're on Airbnb.
100% agree.
And the VRBOs skew towards the age group of 35 to 60, families, multi-generational groups, longer average stays, higher household income, and values certainty over discovery. So their sweet spots for their properties are single family homes, properties with 3+ bedrooms, beach mountain resorts, family amenity properties like pools, game rooms, and large kitchens.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
In Arizona, I think the reason why VRBO is so popular too is because we have so many of those longer stays during the winter season. The snowbirds are getting out for 2, 3, 4 months, some of them. Those are the people that are booking on VRBO. Those are not the people booking on Airbnb. So our calendar is already filled for next high season with a lot of our 30-night plus guests, many of them VRBO.
Well, because they are already there, right? At that property, they've stayed there for over 30 days. They've learned to love the property. So now they want that certainty, like it says here. They want certainty over discovery. And so they know, okay, if I book this home again for next year, because I know I'm coming again, this is what I'm going to get. This is the service I'm going to get. This is the house I'm going to have.
And
so
I'm going
they
to be
know.
happy here for a few months.
Right.
It's a comfortability too. Maybe it doesn't have the splashy Instagram design,
Correct.
but it has all the creature comforts. It's
home.
something that's clean. It's a home. It's comfortable. It's more modern than probably where they normally live, to be honest, because they want to be on vacation. So they want to do something different. But these are regular homes with nice amenities like pools or community pools and all kinds of things. But they are maybe the people that are looking for shuffleboard games and bachelor parties and all of that.
They're not the Airbnbers.
Yeah. They're also really loyal to VRBO. Even when guests have stayed with us before on a VRBO reservation, they will still go back to VRBO, pay the fees, and book with them again because they feel like they have this loyalty to VRBO because they've been booking with them for so long.
And little do they know they would, if they book direct through our website, get the same home, same service, and save money.
They're going to end up with us anyway. But it's an interesting proposition.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, they tend to be a lot more loyal to the site. And I think they've just been there for a long time. They've also seen the site change over the years because VRBO, which used to be called VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner.
I say VRBO because I feel like it's capitalized. Why are we capitalizing it?
These VRBO people are trying to call it VRBO to be cooler. You've probably seen it all over the TV lately too. Like VRBO is everywhere advertising. Airbnb goes on their runs too, but literally VRBO is crazy. They're selling against hotels. They're selling against Airbnb. They're doing everything that they can. But I think there's just a loyalty factor that goes along with them. They have a little loyalty program at VRBO too, which people like. But what I was going to tell you is over the years, it changed from VRBO to VRBO. It got bought by Expedia, which means everything changed fee-wise and structure-wise. They used to never charge the guests anything.
Really?
Back in the day when I started, they charged the host.
Okay.
Or they asked 2 different ways. That you could do a subscription or you could pay a per reservation fee, but they only were collecting those fees.
Oh, okay.
So now they charge the guest as well. And even though they're very loyal to the site, so they continue to pay these fees, which is crazy to me, but that's what they're doing. They have raised their fees exponentially since Expedia bought them. And I think it's probably because of the purchase, to be honest.
Probably. I mean, that makes sense. Expedia is a big, travel company, and they obviously make really good money doing what they do. So they probably restructured VRBO to being more cash flowing friendly for their investors.
Their investment, yes.
And for their company. So I would imagine that's probably why VRBO even sold out in the first place to Expedia.
And you can get some benefits with the Expedia piece too, because you get some automatic listings on Expedia now. It's not a separate channel. It's all kind of tied in with VRBO, as well as some other sites that they own. But that's the benefit of being with VRBO. Again, loyalty, a little older customer. I guess you could argue too, as far as damages or anything like that,
Like less.
less than potentially an Airbnb, which is a shorter trip. Even though these people are staying longer, there seemingly is a respect level that is a little bit greater than when you're throwing a big party at Airbnb, which, by the way, most of our houses don't allow anyway. But
It happens.
it's not 100%.
Right. It happens, but happens way less in VRBO than Airbnb. Okay.
Way less.
Excuse me. So Airbnb has its host pay, right? And so are we seeing that Airbnb and VRBO have the same amount of like fee structures? And now I know ours is a little different with VRBO because of the being grandfathered in.
Well, we have a subscription with VRBO.
Right.
So we've been around for a minute. So they grandfather us into a program where we actually charge our owners for VRBO. But it's now $699. And you do have to book a certain amount of VRBO reservations in order to cover with the different fees in order for that number to make sense. But almost all of our houses do. So it's not a big stretch beyond that. All of our midterm stays are on VRBO, grandfathered in subscription model. But we do have some newer homes sometimes, or some ones that are structured to be shorter term rentals that fit right into the Airbnb model. Scottsdale, 3 nights, VRBO might not be right for them. So they charge 5% on the entire reservation to the hosts. And they also charge the guests. So VRBO gets their money from both sides. They get the money from us and they get the money. So all in all, it's also very hard to determine what their total price is because they don't just charge on rent. They charge on absolutely every single thing in that reservation, including tax. It's ridiculous. Credit card fee they charge on. Wow. And they don't even collect the credit card fee, which is super funny because we're the merchant of record. So it's a way different proposition. They were probably at all in with them 17, 18% with, honestly, we're probably in at 17, 18%, but between the guest and us. That's being honest.
So that's how much VRBO is actually pulling from the whole pot.
Yep.
Now, what about Airbnb?
Airbnb supposedly charges 15.5%, but they're also now charging on the entire reservation, which they always have.
Right.
But they went from charging the host 3% and then charging the guest the balance. To charging only the host. All of it. 0.5 of the whole reservation doesn't cover everything. So you actually have to up that a little bit in order to even cover some of these fees so that you're not losing every dollar that you're making on property management or anything just in fees. But it's a way different proposition. But good news is no subscriptions, none of that. So they have some of that figured out.
Okay. So for us here at Elite, you know, we obviously run on more than just VRBO or Airbnb. Give us a little breakdown of what are the other platforms? Like the benefit of having us manage your property here at Elite is you don't just get the 2 platforms, right? You get a plethora of platforms. And what are those platforms?
So we tend to be a company that is not singularly focused on Airbnb and VRBO. We are focused on more eyeballs, more distribution means more bookings.
Okay.
Some of those channels certainly are not as powerful as VRBO and Airbnb, and our website would be third rank.
Okay.
But we have Lively, and there's all these niche players now.
Right. It seems like everyone's coming out with a new platform.
A little angle, right? BringFido.com. Well, we're on that too. That's for people that like to travel with a dog, but that's for people that just go specifically there because they have a dog. Not that the other ones can't accommodate their dog. It's just they go to the sites like that because that's so important to them. Or Mr. B&B is for gay travel, or Furnish Finders is for traveling nurses. So there's a lot of these. And so we tend to hand key all of those. But the bigger players still are Booking.com, very big for us. Marriott's in the game now. Expedia, we talked about. Travelocity, TripAdvisor's in it. Who else? Lively is a new one that's different. Wednesday is involved, which is like for people that are traveling within 7 days for not more than 7 days. If you can imagine, that's their angle.
What?
Yeah, that's their whole platform. Like, this is just for people that want to stay within 7 days. Okay, that's very narrow, but that's what they focus on.
Okay, all right.
And then other big players are also getting very involved with loyalty rewards now. And so we're big on, can you redeem your Marriott points? Now we're involved with, can you redeem your Capital One points for vacation rentals, not just hotels anymore. So all of these sites exist too.
Wow. Okay.
So we tend to be, if it's new and it's legitimate, we're probably going to give it a shot.
Okay. That's fair.
And build it up over time. It's going to take forever for somebody to be as big as Airbnb and VRBO.
For sure.
Booking.com is really big, by the way, but mostly with international.
Right. Yes. And then also for Stay, is there one called Stay?
Stay is new.
They're like a new one, right? I feel like they're all popping up.
They're all popping up, but they all have this little angle that they're trying, and we call them niche players. The other thing we do, because we're all realtors, which I don't think in every single state you have to be a realtor to be a property manager, but here in Arizona, I manage over 30 days.
Over 30 days, yes. But for short term, you don't have to have a real estate license. But here on our team, everyone has a real estate license just because we feel that it is super important. And we as real estate agents are held to a higher level.
Yeah, we're
and
not going to mess around with our
standard. Like, we don't want to lose our licenses because that's, for a lot of us, our bread and butter. And so it's like, yeah, we have a standard that we need to hit, not just for our company, not even just for ourselves, but for our license for the state of Arizona.
100%.
And I think that could be a different episode. Very quickly down the road, we are going to end up seeing the Department of Real Estate put some new guidelines, things on vacation rental, because really and truly, it's still the same as a long-term rental. You're focusing and making money on a property, on a house, and you are controlling this. You know what I mean? So
totally,
I think they're going to end up putting some regulation.
Literally, the reason I brought up also being a real estate agent is we use the MLS.
Oh, yeah.
And so because we can use the MLS, we do use it. And I think that's really important for our clients and for other people too. So if you have access to something like that, it's very good for midterm stays for obvious reasons, but it gets your name out there.
Right.
It gets you new properties too, because other realtors see that you're in the game and they refer business. So that's sort of nice. But also, most importantly for our clients, we get bookings because of it. People see us on the MLS. They understand what's going on. Their agents they call themselves sometimes. So it's great because it pushes out to Zillow and all kinds of other places. So good news is we're on everything.
You really can't beat it here.
I think that's been our strategy. I've definitely heard strategies a different way, which is super limit your exposure so that you get better work with the algorithms and all of that stuff. But the truth is you really have to have eyeballs out there.
It's so true. And so I think, how we started this whole entire episode was, which one do you choose, VRBO or Airbnb? And it's like, well,
choose both.
You could choose both, but we choose a whole lot more because we know how important it is. And so it's like, if you are going to be, for the homeowners out there that are like, I'm going to manage my property all by myself. I got this. I'm doing this all by myself. You have to choose both. Don't just do one or the other.
Agree with that.
You will hurt your own revenue, I believe. But if you want to take it up the next level, yeah, of course, we have a management fee, but that management fee becomes pennies on the fact of what and how we can market your property.
Market it and manage it. You don't, you literally don't lift a finger for our management fee. So it depends how heavily involved you want to be.
Very true.
Think about if you're on Airbnb and VRBO, even just 2 platforms, that's 2 platforms you're logging into. That's 2 platforms you're responding to. That's 2 platforms that, when you're only on 2 and you have less than 10 houses, that's a lot of work because you don't have an additional software to help manage the responses and the reviews and the everything.
And making sure calendars are linked and seeing and talking and all that.
You have all this energy for all that.
Right.
It's not hard. It's just a lot of work.
It is.
And then think about yourself after that. Oh, great. You got a booking. Now what are you going to do? There needs to be an agreement. There needs to be money collected. How are you doing that?
Right.
These platforms do collect for you if you want them to, but that costs money too.
It does.
And why not do all that stuff yourself if you're going to truly be on your own? For the people that want to try and do it on their own. Now we got to find cleaners. Now we got to find maintenance people. Now we got to find inspectors. Now we got to find people to run around and deliver propane and all this other stuff that goes on constantly all the time.
Daily.
And if you're not in the town that you actually are managing in, if you don't live there, and you can't get to that property quickly within an hour, I don't recommend it.
I don't either.
Sometimes you got to put your own eyes on your own house, or you
I've
got
seen-
somebody that has your back, keep putting your eyes on your own house. And a random housekeeper or maintenance person that you've hired, they might not have your best interest.
And they don't always have the thought process of how it needs to be done,
Correct.
right? It's like, oh yeah, the house looks great. Sure, the house probably does look great, but is it a standard that a guest is okay coming in?
So yeah, circling back, everyone's ultimate goal is to really try and not be on any platform and just be on your own personal website. You control everything then. You
It's
control
very nice,
the
yeah.
money, you control the payment processing, you just control it all.
So if you're a traveler and you are listening to our podcast and you're like, I want to learn
Try and
about
book direct.
book direct and not just us, we do have our own website, but most vacation rental companies have their own direct website. You will save money that way, but you'll also save money that way because there's less fees, right? There's not a ton of hands in the cookie jar. So
Well, here's a little insider tip. On these platforms, you can tell who the property management
You absolutely
company
can.
are. So if you're savvy at all, jump on Google or ChatGPT and go, who are these people at Elite Vacation Rentals or any of the other companies that are listed there? Try and find their own personal website. You're going to end up with the same exact hosts. You're going to end up with the exact same house that you're interested in the first place. And for what? 16, 17,
Way
18% less.
Way less.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's an insider tip.
Non-insider tip.
direct.
Okay, a couple takeaways from our episode today is Airbnb is a larger audience. There's more urban and unique and international reach.
I agree with
They have that. And it says that they're better for new listings seeking volume, which I think we have seen that, right? In Airbnb,
Yeah,
if
they
you're
have some
looking
nice
for
new promotion stuff and new property.
you're looking for a lot of bookings, like that's a good one. VRBO, which is not VRBO, by the way, it's VRBO, so get that straight. And so if any time in this episode we've said VRBO or VRBO or which
They're
one,
interchangeable anymore.
it's not correct. It is VRBO.
VRBO.
Get it right. They're a whole home only because, some Airbnbs will do like room
and
shares and stuff like that.
we don't actually do that at Elite.
So VRBO does that. They are more family and group focused, higher ADR potential, and again, the loyal repeat guests. And most of the Arizona properties that we have are over a 3+ bedroom, wouldn't you say?
Okay. I mean, we for sure have some condos that are 2-bedroom and stuff, but I would say mostly we are in the homes business.
Yes.
Not in the condo business. We tend to do whole homes a lot, but we have some variety.
Right. And so with Airbnb and VRBO, you do want to be listed on both platforms.
Yes,
so
you have to be.
And so there is no universal right answer between Airbnb and VRBO. Just for clarification, the right answer is going to be the one that matches your property's strength. And again, like we said, we believe that both platforms are great for your properties. You should have your properties listed under both platforms.
I'll give you one other tip. On our website, we have a tool that's called Booking Insights, and it literally pops up when you're about to book on our website, and it says, this house on Airbnb is this price, this house on VRBO is this price, and our price is this. You can see it plain as day, the different fees and how much it's going to cost the traveler. And so obviously we do that to encourage bookings on our website, but it's a great.
Well, yeah, because then it's like, oh my gosh, it's such an eye-opener. It's an eye-opener. Like, wait, hold on. I have to pay an extra $500 for my vacation for nothing besides fees.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I ask people all the time, look, Britt, there's a couple of benefits with Airbnb. They have a little bit of a host guarantee. And, if you do some damages, they have some coverage. Negligent damage, by the way, accidental damage, they don't cover. So if you do something heinous, they don't cover it anyway. But there's a little bit of, they also do all the payment processing at Airbnb. So they control all the money, money flow. So it's a little different. VRBO, though, literally, they book. They pass us the reservation. They end up right with us. We are the ones that are collecting. We're the ones checking.
And they're still charging the fees.
We're the ones doing all of it. And I don't know that there's no guarantee of host guarantee. There's nothing on VRBO. We love working with the platform, but literally, particularly after you've stayed with a particular company or in a particular house, direct the next time. find them the first time on these sites.
I think that concludes today's episode on how we feel about Airbnb and
VRBO.
not VRBO, it's VRBO. You need to be on both of them, and you need to be on multiple platforms, and reach out to us.
More is more.
If you are literally sitting here and you're managing your own properties and you are like, you know what, I do love managing my own properties, but maybe I could be doing more. Maybe I could have better revenue. Reach out to us and let's have the conversation. Maybe we're a great fit for you. Maybe we're not.
Yep.
But have the conversation, because at the end of the day, we do want to see everyone succeed. And we want everyone to feel like they have skin in the game and that can be successful in the short-term rental. But don't feel like you're doing it by yourself. We're here. Reach out to us. Thank you guys so much for we appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Peace out.
Peace out.
Thanks for being here on Life Well Booked. If this episode fired you up, made you think, or left you feeling inspired, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Until next time, keep showing up big, living with intention, and building a life that stays well booked.